Hi again then guys, and welcome to another big money earning setup for Gran Turismo Sport. And once again, but for those who are perhaps new to these tunes, I'll say that this is not the highest amount of money that you can earn using this method, and by this method I'm referring to the oval racing big money earning method. If you're completely unfamiliar with that, if you're new to the channel, click the link down below in my pinned comment, the very first link there, plus all of the other links in that comment are for other versions of this tune for different cars, so that you can pick and choose what car you want to use, earn different amounts of money, and some cars are more interesting, some cars are faster, just simply put. Now this one is for N400, so it's alongside stuff such as the Porsche GT3 RS, which was one of the very first ones that I did for earning this kind of cash, but this is one which I suddenly thought to myself, why not give that car a try? Because the GT by Citroen in the past of Gran Turismo has pretty much always been a deceptively quick car, and as it turns out, that's still the case, especially when it comes to cornering speed. Now, as far as the weight, I would recommend dropping it as much as you can. If you can't afford that, as far as mileage points go, just save up some, and then when you can afford to, do that. But the most important thing is, of course, to drop the power down to 440 horsepower to get it into N400, or at least whatever the highest power that you've got on your measurements, be it horsepower, PS, whatever the case may be, so that you can get it down into that category. As far as traction control, I'd recommend turning it off. Racing super soft tyres are what I've gone for. I know different people like to use different things. As far as suspension, we've got the ride height on 95mm, front and rear. The frequency of the suspension on 2.9, anti-roll on 5, compression on the dampers on 56, the rebound on 85 with neutral camber and toe, which anyone who's familiar with this Citroen on Gran Turismo 6 might be surprised that it's got no camber, because back then it was kind of a challenging car for top speed, that's for sure. He used to like weaving around all over the road. As far as downforce, you can't adjust that, unfortunately. As far as the diff, I've left the initial torque on 10, acceleration on 40, braking on 20, which is basically the stock settings when you fit the fully customized diff. So that's pretty simple to do. Again, you could play around if you want to, but it actually handles really nicely at that level. As far as the gearbox, I'd recommend fitting, again, the race transmission. Then I've put the auto setting on 180 miles per hour and left the rest as is. So that's it for the tune. There's some room for variation there, as usual. But, of course, let's take it out on the track in that particular race to see what it performs like. Now, many of you guys who have used my tunes for earning huge money before, be it for the KTM, which is still the best method in terms of how much you earn, many of you guys, of course, first came on the channel due to the Porsche version, which is probably still the most beginner-friendly all-round, but I have to say, in the same category of N400, this Citroen actually comes really close to that Porsche in terms of how good it is through corners, and also how easy it is to drive. I didn't expect it to be that good. I expected it to be quick through corners, but possibly a little bit temperamental as well. But that didn't turn out to be the case. It has excellent handling. You just let off the throttle a little bit, possibly apply the brakes a little if you need to, let it coast straight into the corner, and you can put the power on pretty quickly as well. You can take some of the corners at about 120, 140 miles per hour. The top end speed on the straights isn't quite as quick as, say, the Porsche in terms of how quickly it gets up around 170, but it's still more than enough to win the race. You can get in the lead by around lap 9 or 10, and that's even against stuff like the LaFerrari. I know some less experienced drivers, or maybe just if you're not as comfortable with the cars or with oval racing, find it a little bit more difficult to beat the LaFerrari. For those people, I have two pieces of advice, again, primarily if you're new to the channel. One would be to, of course, re-enter the race enough times so that the LaFerrari isn't there, and it's like the Veyron, for instance, instead. Or, the better method is to check out, again, the link below in the description or in the comments to click through to my LaFerrari tune, which actually allows you to, of course, have the advantage of the LaFerrari, but because it's a couple of classes lower, you'll actually still earn a huge amount of cash. So this one's good for about 1.7 million credits an hour, because you can do it roughly 5 times, so it's a pretty good money earner. So if you do decide to use this tune, or click through and see one of my other ones, also for earning huge money, I hope you enjoy them, and buy all the cars you wanted in the game. But that's it for this pick. Of course, stick around on the channel for more like this, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.